This is Spare Parts, your show for all things motorsports. With your hosts, Stephen Cleary, Sean Cavarella, and Taylor Moore.
Hear that music?
Is that a giant baby Yoda behind you?
Yeah.
No. Grogu.
Yes, it's Grogu.
Why did I not know you had that?
You remember like the Squishmallow craze like last year?
No.
And they had them at
I know what it
Costco?
is.
Sean, you literally have one sitting on the couch.
That's what that thing is?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so like last year, like early in I don't know, like it was one of those quarantine crazes. I think it was during like the second wave or something like that. And like everybody, they released these giant squishmallows of Grogu from The Mandalorian, and people went crazy. And then Costco got them for like $20. So everybody went crazy, and then they just sold out everywhere. And then like it's just like the same thing. People bought a whole bunch, and then we're selling them online for like $150.
Okay.
The regular, like
So
scalpers.
you bought that for $150? Is that what you're saying?
No. No, my mom went to Costco like multiple times to try and find the Squishmallow, and then she just got lucky one day and found one.
Okay.
$20.
Interesting. That thing is like double the size of you.
Yeah, it's super comfortable. Great for my old lady back.
That's fair. See, I like how it's Grogu, right? They named it Grogu.
Watch
whatever.
the damn show.
I'll get to watching them eventually.
You gotta catch
But-
up on
I
that
can't
and
believe
Book
you
of Boba
still
Fett.
haven't watched it. Oh
I'm-
my gosh.
The episode of Book of Boba Fett this week was amazing.
I'm a broken Star Wars fan ever since the sequels.
Yeah.
Which ones?
Ever since Last Jedi, my heart is broken for Star Wars. Okay?
The
So-
prequels at least gave us a dope soundtrack.
Exactly.
Dope soundtrack, I mean,
The
one
prequels
song.
we still don't talk about though.
Prequels are fantastic.
I maintain. No, they're not.
Oh, this can be a fight. Yes, prequels are good cinema. It's
No,
bad
they're-
dialogue.
Sean.
They are good
No.
Star Wars movies, it's just they have bad
We
dialogue.
Cannot have this discussion.
Fine, we won't. Fine, we won't. We'll save
Jar
it
Jar
for
Jar
another time.
Binks.
Do we want it?
Jar
Do we
Jar
want-
Binks is the only thing I need to say
Do we-
about them.
Do we want to switch gears and talk about how the
Prequels.
Galactic Empire was right and the Rebellion was wrong?
Okay, so maybe we should talk about like racing stuff because that's our point of being here. We've gone enough. I don't have the energy to fight on Star Wars stuff.
But we're going to put that in the notes that we will have a Star Wars debate later.
Yes, that could be a future episode. Maybe in an off season or summer break or something. I don't have the
Sure.
energy for making that conversation because we just spent way too many hours watching the 24-hour race.
Yep.
And then we even spent more time watching the Formula E race on Friday. So it's been 3 straight days of racing. And, where do we want to begin? Oh, wait. Welcome to Spare Parts. I'm your host, Sean.
I'm Steven.
And I'm Taylor.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so now we can talk about actual stuff that's not random bullshit. Stupid ass Baby Yoda.
Hey.
And yes, we are arguing in our freaking show notes.
I'm not paying attention to it, so you guys can do that.
Good idea.
So,
Good idea.
first weekend of actual motorsports kind of being back. Couple big events.
Actual racing.
Actual racing of marquee series, not like shitty local things. So, we had the Formula E race, is 2 of them.
Yep. And they also debuted a new qualifying format.
Mhm.
I didn't watch the qualifying, but I heard good things about it.
Yeah, I heard that there was some buzz about it, but I didn't
What is
see
up
it.
with their qualifying?
So, if you're not in the know, they're moving from, they used to do more of a Formula 1 style. Everybody goes on the track
Q1,
and
2, Q3, yeah.
yep, just whatever your best time is, that's what you get. What they moved on to is something sort of hybrid to something new, and also what IndyCar does. So they have Group A and Group B go out. They do, there's 22 cars, do their qualifying like normal, and it goes to a fast 4 from each group.
Okay.
The new part is it is now a head-to-head qualifying. Sort of similar, if you remember from the E series, when everything was shut down and there was no racing, they did the one-on-one, one-lap shootout.
Yes.
So it's similar to that. There's no actual racing, but it's just you versus the other guy. Put your best time down.
Are they on the track at the same time?
They're on the track at the same time. It's probably
Okay.
like a 20-second gap or something like that,
Okay.
because they eventually, I can't remember who it was in the qualifying in race or for race 1 on Friday. It was, but they eventually had a side by side, and they put the first car on a delay, so that way they were sort of lined up.
Oh, okay.
So it looks like they're head to head, but there's probably about a 10-20 second gap.
I just wonder if there's like an advantage being the later guy, because like more rubber down in theory. I don't know.
I don't think it would make a huge difference since it's only one car going out, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's not like like in Formula One where it's like the track evolution goes so much from the 15th minute of Q1 to the last minute of Q3.
No, that's very
Right.
true.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, so basically it's head to head. You get down to the final two. They do a shootout for pole, and then everybody gets ranked based off, like the third and fourth cars don't face off. They just as soon as you're out, you're gridded up based on your time. So it's I think it's an interesting way to try and get some competition on the Friday.
That's not a terrible idea.
Saturday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because to have actual competition in qualifying, make it a little more, I guess, palatable for some people to watch.
Yeah, well, they got to do something a little different because this series, it's not overly popular, but I wouldn't say it's hasn't lost a lot of popularity. Not that it really had any, but it's a new thing to try and get eyes on your sport, right?
Yeah,
So
it's not necessarily like Formula E came in, was kind of that new series, right?
Yeah.
And now it's kind of stagnant. It hasn't really grown too much. It's not like the next big thing on the rise. It's just kind of this other thing.
Yeah.
So doing something that's a little bit different to maybe try to get people to watch, I think, is pretty smart. Especially if in the form of like qualifying, which people usually don't care about because it's not the race. There's no competition there. It's just people driving and whoever's fastest, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, and honestly, if the racing goes the way it did for these two races, I think a lot more people, if they start checking it out, would actually like it because was a very competitive first two races.
One thing that also really stood out to me, watching / listening, is the whine is not as bad.
Yep. Well,
it's not as high pitched. I remember we were talking about this before in testing.
We had a quick look. It wasn't great after testing. I think they tweaked some more things and they got it down even more.
Yeah.
But you had a noticeable difference in testing, and it's a noticeable step down again.
Yeah.
I think.
Like it's not so high
Which
pitched.
is really good.
It's a little more of a rumble, a little more of a growl than just like a wee.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is really good because that's like been one of the most, I think, one of the biggest drawbacks for watching Formula E is just the whine and having to listen to that sound because it's so much different than what you get in any of the other series, right? Like there's, it's just a different engine, but I mean, it's good that they're adjusting that. They're obviously thinking about their fan experience that way, and they're trying to create intrigue and they're trying to create more competition to draw people into the series. So it's good to see, and hopefully they do grow, and they just don't continue to be stagnant, even with the new stuff that they're bringing in. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, like it sounds like a very interesting format.
Yep. And of course, there was controversy on week 1 of racing because we had two incidents. One which was in qualifying of round 1, where there was a crane on track as they're trying to pull one of the cars off, and they basically just red flagged it and said, "Screw it, we're just going to get Group 2 out there." So
interesting.
a lot of drivers weren't happy with that, especially the guys who didn't make it. The guys who made it, less so, but might have skewed with their matchups a little bit. But other than that, oh well. But anyways, race 1. So one of the things I think a lot of people who haven't checked out Formula E yet will like about it is that it's the road course style of Formula One, but these guys are getting their elbows out early. There was a lot of door banging,
Tire banging,
tire banging. Sure, yeah, like it was a lot of guys shoving each other around. Like
yeah, they can make contact despite being like open wheels.
Yeah. First round you had Oliver Rowland against Robin Friends, and those two basically just took each other out of the race.
Yeah, they what was it? Was Roland punted Friends after he kind of gave him a shot? Yep. He's like, well, fine, you do that.
Yep.
Boom, barrier.
Yep, and they, to their credit, they let them race. So if that's the standard going forward, that's why I think this could be, if you're looking for the competition side of motorsports versus the innovation and we're going to go for the peak of technology and speed, this would be the kind of series that you want to watch. So then you also, but the big thing I think at the beginning or in the middle of the race was also you had the Mercedes who finished 1-2. So, Mercedes is still dominating in no matter what discipline we're looking at. He had Stoffel Van Dorn give his teammate the lead because he missed the energy boosting attack zone entrance and basically just took a wider line. So if you don't know the Formula E format, you have an attack zone, which basically gives you a boosted battery, but you have to hit an entrance coming out of the outside or on the outside of a turn. So
it's offline.
You take the offline, get the battery boost for 2 minutes, and you can start zipping past people. So he took the outside line, missed the entrance, and Nick DeVries basically just cut under him and took the lead. And Nick DeVries was the eventual winner. So great way to start your bid for a back-to-back championship there, kid.
Yeah, that was pretty good, especially for the Mercedes guys to kind of be battling each other out too.
Yep.
But yeah, DeVries looking pretty good again. Didn't have the best second round.
No, but we can't win them all.
Exactly.
It's a long season. And again, this is a competitive series, I think, and a lot of guys were saying that after the races that it's going to be a long fight.
Yeah, like if you look at the top 5 in points after the first race, it's 8 points difference.
Yep.
So, you can score points all around, but in a series that is so competitive, I just think that it's looking pretty good to have a good Formula E season.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and even the fight for third was between Jake Dennis and Andre Lauderer at one point, and they made a ton of contact. Jake Dennis kept trying to attack him in turn 1, and they were bumping and fighting all the way down the main straight, and that sort of carried on into race 2 because we went from 2 cars fighting into turn 1 to 4 cars fighting into turn 1 because you had Degrassi, Nick DeVries, Eduardo Motara, who eventually won the race, and Robin Friends again, basically just shoving each other all over the track, which was really entertaining to watch, to see that these guys are just going to sort of shove each other out of the way to try and win races this year. So then we get to the controversial part because who was it? Sam Bird from Mahindra ended up crashing out with about 10 minutes left or so, and they had to recover the car. So the other thing with Formula E is that these tracks are very enclosed. They have it's very like North American street style with the artificial barriers.
Did we mention where they're racing?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, they're in Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
So it was kind of similar to the F1 track, but it is also cut down a bit.
Yeah.
So it wasn't as fast. It was a little more...
A lot more technical.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which actually, this track I think was more entertaining than the F1 one.
Yeah, definitely. But what was it? So these tracks are very enclosed, and they have giant banners along the side as well. Like if you're walking down, if you're walking down the sidewalk, you can't see the track really. But what that means is that there's also a lot of blind corners, which is something that Dario Franchitti was actually pointing out in the pre-race, is that there's a lot of blind corners. You can't really see where you're going. So Sam Bird crashes. They get the crane out. They have the safety car take the cars by the crane while it's still on track. And I'm sitting there wondering why the hell they're doing that, because that seems like just a safety nightmare.
Yeah.
And just something bad waiting to happen. and John Eric Verne was very critical of the race directors. So, we're starting off 2022, how we ended 2021, a race director under fire.
Just going to beat that dead horse. Though this one I think is a little more reasonable.
Yeah.
Well, not to say the other one wasn't, but this one's a little more safety oriented versus competition.
Basically, the story we got from John Eric Verne was that guys were running into each other because the safety car just sort of stopped in the turn before and basically just caused a huge domino checkup. And so you had guys being like, yeah, I saw the brake lights, and the next thing you know, I hear carbon fiber crunching behind me. So, yeah,
not,
we're starting
not the greatest.
No, not the greatest.
No,
but
not at all.
To be fair, I can't remember the race director's name. He came out and said, yep, I definitely could have done better, so...
At least you owned it?
That's... Mm-hmm. Yeah, at least you own your mistake.
Bare minimum?
Yep.
Which...
bare minimum, but, sometimes in the world we live in, bare minimum is
all we can get.
Yeah,
that's very true.
Yeah, but again, I guess if you want to sort of put a wrap on it, Formula E is, I think, going to be very entertaining, and those who aren't checking it out maybe might want to.
I'll be honest, since watching it, I've tried watching it in the past. The noise has always kept me off, or I've watched it on mute. Yeah. This is one of the first times I actually was listening to it more than watching. I was doing something else while I had it on my other screen. So it was more listening versus actually watching, and I was able to listen to it just fine. I wasn't wanting to rip my ears out. So they've definitely made a really good improvement on the sound.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if people have tried it and kind of thought, maybe not for me, I would definitely recommend getting back into it.
I can't listen to this for 45 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. They're relatively short races, at 45 minutes long plus a lap.
Ooh, I like what they did also with the safety car rules, where the safety car adds time. It's every minute under the safety car, it's 45 seconds added to the race.
Mm-hmm.
I actually really like that.
Yeah, because it doesn't affect the battery life because they're recharging when they're at such low speed.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Or at least they're not using as much.
I think they do have a little bit of recharge on it.
They do recharge, because I think they said in the race broadcast, they only have 20% race distance actually in the battery, and the rest of it is just regained throughout the actual race, which is again why the tracks are more technical, because you get the KERS element to recharge the battery, so you got to brake more.
Yeah.
But also, one thing I like about Formula E, they're all relatively close.
Yep.
You don't have a massive gap, and like Steven said, they can get their elbows out. Two guys are battling, get their elbows out, all of a sudden, oh look, third and fourth guy behind them are right there. And it's entertaining racing. That's what you want, right? You want good, entertaining racing? That doesn't sound terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If you've been sick and tired of the Formula One before last year, the two teams dominate, this might be a series you want to watch. If you don't want to also watch
it kind of looks like two teams are going to be the ones dominating in Formula E so far.
Yeah, it's early.
It's still early though in the season. There's a lot more races to be had. So
there's lots of guys that could easily jump up here. If you want to go through it quickly. So Sean's referencing the fact that Rocket and Mercedes are sitting. So Rocket is 1 and 4, Mercedes is 2 and 3. The Avalanche team could be okay. Askew is still a rookie, so he's gotta learn a little bit. But you had some bigger names also not finishing.
Looking at you, Giovinazzi.
Yeah.
Oh.
Giovinazzi, no points.
Yeah, he didn't do the best.
Yeah, but Antonio Felix da Costa didn't have a finish and then didn't make the points, probably because his car was pretty beat up. And he's proven to be a winner before in this series. Pascal Wehrlein didn't have a great start to the season either, but Andre Lauderer should also be in the picture later on in the season. So I think it was the Mercedes 1-2 and then the Rockets both finishing high up. It can easily flip around once, and who knows?
They just seem to be there already. So
it's two races in.
I know, but
yeah,
it's a small sample size, but at the same time, based on that, they're competitive. They're pushing it. Degrassi with what do you get? 25 points didn't necessarily. So that's what he got a 5th and a 3rd.
Yep.
He's just there, and he's also basically a vet at the series at this point. So, and if he's the worst of the 4 of them, I don't know.
Yeah, it's
early. I like that Rocket team too.
Yeah, the Rocket team is good, but it's a long season. We got lots of races to go.
Fair enough. So, should we move on to some other news of the week that happened before we get to talking about the 24-hour?
Let's do it.
Okay, so Max showed off his new helmet.
Ooh.
Solid gold.
It's not solid gold. It's more like gold accents.
Lots of gold.
Yeah, it looks nice though.
He's really leaning into this I won last year thing, taking the gold or putting gold on the helmet, taking the number 1 for the first time. Who was the last one to take the number 1?
I don't know.
Ooh.
I can't remember.
Wasn't Lewis, wasn't Rosberg. Don't think it was Vettel.
Maybe Vettel did it once?
No, Vettel. Yeah, it was Vettel.
I think he did after his first one, yeah.
Mm-hmm. After his first one with Red Bull, I think he did. He took that one. So, you know, like...
I think lean into it. Go for it. Be the champ.
Just, yeah, like, who knows? In the back of his head, like, going into the real rule change, he could be thinking this might be, like, one of the only chances that he got to prove himself that way. I don't know. But you know what? If you're world champion, who the heck cares? It's his first one. Let him lean into it. It's not like he's taking it too far by doing anything.
What I say last year, why I wanted Verstappen to win. I wanted that villain type in Formula One. Now, not to mention how he won, which kind of compounds that, but to have that plus him kind of leaning into the whole championship thing, perfect. Get fans angry. Get fans to want to see him lose.
Mm-hmm. I mean, a lot of people already do.
Exactly.
A lot of people already do. A lot of people weren't happy with the fact that he won, but at the same time, I'm like, look, we're heading into a season where no one knows what the outcome is going to be or what the racing is going to be like. So, whatever. He can go around on track with his number 1 and his nice little gold accented helmet and be happy. Good for him. He deserved it. Whatever.
No,
I'm sure there are people out there who are like really upset that he's taking the 1 and doing all this stuff with gold but whatever.
I actually really like the gold. I would kind of like to see it added to the car too. Like, what if the 1 is in gold on the Red Bull?
Oh.
Honestly, wouldn't be surprised if it was.
That'd be really cheeky.
Bedazzle the car.
No, it's not good for aerodynamics. You can't do that. Formula E car, maybe.
Bedazzle and then put it into resin.
That's just adding more weight. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
So yeah, Max's new helmet. Singapore was, I guess, signed an extension through 2028.
Which I like. There's been some memorable moments, especially over the last couple of years there.
I always like these extensions. I'm like, wow, that's so long that I'm like, but like the last 3 years have passed in like a month. It feels like so.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe it's not so long.
No.
But it's good to see Singapore back on the calendar. Especially with the troubles that track has had having events. Mm-hmm. It's good that there is a commitment to want to keep having F1 there.
Yeah.
And then the biggest news of the week was Honda's back.
Honda's
kind
back
of.
Until 2025.
Well, they're still going to be. They're still Honda cars. They aren't moving over to being called Red Bull Powertrain yet.
Nope.
No, but isn't that that's what they're trying to go for, right? Like that's the move that they're going for, is making them called like Red Bull Powertrains or whatever.
So Red Bull wants to build its own engines and everything, and basically be its own power unit supplier. So they are currently building, I think, the factory for that and all the in-house stuff, but that's not going to be ready for years.
Yeah.
I think it was like not until like, I want to say 2025 or whenever the next rule change came in that they were going to be ready for that. So for Honda to be like, you know what? Yeah, we'll stick around for a bit. Steven, what did you say?
Oh, it's the power of winning.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if Lewis wins, does Honda do that, you think?
No, not at all. They're gone.
No.
Yeah, so it's the magic of winning. Oh, we won and we got a lot of money. Oh, maybe we can stick around for a little bit. Then maybe that won't be too bad.
Yeah, it's the first Honda win since the 90s.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
We'll stick
It's
around.
been a while.
Yeah. So, I was kind of surprised by that, to be honest. I didn't think they would actually stick around. Because how many times in motorsports does someone say, we're done? And you're like, well, if they're done, they're not coming back. Very rarely does someone go, never mind.
Yeah.
So,
No, that's very true.
It's one of those things that works out, I think, for both sides, right? Like, because Honda was only going to stay on until the end of this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So...
No,
now,
well, they were done after they won.
No, but I thought they were still going to supply the...
They were going to be on in like a technical side of like giving assistance, but they were going to be like no financial assistance. That they aren't going to be called Hondas. They would slowly kind of help Red Bull transition, but now it seems they're all in of helping Red Bull.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm all for it. I like keeping Honda in.
Yeah.
Keeping another manufacturer.
Yeah. More suppliers keeps the sport healthy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I just wonder if another team can grab Hondas.
I don't know. Maybe the AlphaTauris can find something there.
Well, no shit. The AlphaTauris are going to be out Hondas too.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I mean, like, if
you mean outside the Red Bull family?
Yeah, like could an Alfa Romeo, and I guess now they're kind of tied to Ferrari.
Well, that's the thing though, right? Like because
Williams,
there's so
maybe?
many. If they decided to leave the Mercedes family.
Yeah, it's true. Everyone's kind of in bed with each other at this point. It's hard to kind of.
They are.
Yeah.
Like everybody's pretty interconnected. If you're not, like you're always tied to something. Like even like McLaren is McLaren, right? But
they're tied to Mercedes.
Yep, they're tied to Mercedes again. So
they're going back to Honda. Don't want the Renault.
Nope.
Can't get the Ferrari. You don't have much choice there.
Yeah. So
I think that's interesting. I'm happy they're back.
Mm-hmm. The only other team that I could think of would be Haas, but they don't have the money to leave the Ferrari family.
Haas has backwater Russian engines.
Yeah.
It's just liquid vodka is the fuel.
Is that legal fuel?
Yeah.
That's the only place they can go.
And then the final bit of news that happened this week was Ernie Francis Jr. is joining in the Indy Lights on the Indy Force team. No, Force Indy. That's the one.
Force Indy. Yeah.
Yeah. I hate that name so much.
You want to say Force India?
Force
Always. It's like, no, it's Force Indy. It's like I had
to force my brain. Yeah, I had to force my brain not to think Force India. I'm like, nope, not the same thing.
So yeah, Force Indy is IndyCar's kind of diversity, kind of try to get more people of color into the sport, not just in terms of on track, but through like mechanical and like engineering sides as well. So they have moved up from, I think, Indy Pro 2000. So they ditched that program, or was it? I think it was USF 2000. Ditched that program, went to Indy Lights, brought on Ernie Francis Jr. I think that's great for Ernie Francis Jr. I think he is going to be one of those guys that comes out of nowhere. I think he has a good shot of maybe not winning the championship, but maybe a race or two.
Yeah, he's been a proven winner in Trans Am, right? So he knows how to drive a car.
Like just his resume. So he is multi-time Trans Am champion. Was it 6 times? 2020, 2019, 2018, 2017, 2016, 2015,
2014.
For fuck's sakes, he was a lot of winning. So anyway,
the only thing that's going to hurt him will be the learning curve and how long it takes him to climb that.
Yes. So he's won a Trans Am, so he's good in road courses and pretty powerful vehicles, I would say. And let's not forget, he also won an SXR race last year. And if you think of the guys who were in that series, who are all accomplished champions essentially, that this 24-year-old beat. And at the time he was 23. Like, he's just turned 24 last week.
Yep, and he was second in the series for that.
Yeah.
So
he is good, and for IndyCar to be like, yeah, we're going to pick him up and kind of put him in Indy Lights, I expect him to be in IndyCar next year.
Well, you already saw a bit of a turnover from the old guard this year, so
Half of the guys who made the jump from Indy Lights to IndyCar last year, I don't think could even hold his helmet. Honestly, I don't. Like you're telling me like a DeFrancesco is more deserving and has proven more than Ernie Francis. No,
there's a lot of names you could kick out of that. Out of IndyCar.
Like I would say, Malukas probably is one that I wouldn't. Like I think he deserves to get that move up. Trying to struggle to think of some of the other guys that I don't think an equal machinery would have a chance against Ernie Francis.
So again, as soon as he learns that car and he can prove that he can drive the open wheel, he's got a clear path forward, I'd say.
If he comes off even remotely competitive, like top 5 at St. Pete, I would put money on him for the championship.
Okay, I will see if I can find that on the books.
I don't think Indy Lights are on the books, but
you never know. So slight detour. We got some news that there's some new sports books coming to Ontario in April. Ooh. So there you go. There might be a way through.
Let's get that gambling addiction going.
Yeah, I think you're already hooked.
I haven't bet in a while.
Yeah,
I bet today.
Oh, sweet! I don't have to be a bookie for Taylor.
Nice. She doesn't pay you anyway.
Excuse me. I go through you for my motorsports bets. I go through my brother for my football bets.
Fair enough. So, that's kind of all that happened this week in news. So I guess we can move on to talk about the Daytona 24-hour and what a race. And I guess we can just start by saying that I think Meyer Shank is going to become a top team in the next few years if they aren't already there.
Probably. They've been good the last couple of years, and now they've got
they've been
Daytona
building.
Trophy.
In the last 12 months, they've won Indianapolis and Daytona with the same driver. Castroneves. Yep. Castroneves brought it home both times.
Jeez, what a year! What a year for him.
Yeah.
Indy 500 champion. Daytona 24-hour. Back in IndyCar full time, coming up.
I'll bet this 24-hour was a lot less hectic than last year's.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Remember last year, it seemed in the last hour everyone had a tire go down.
Yep.
Like all the DPIs were just dropping off, and it was like someone else would take the lead.
All the incidents happened in the first 6 hours because we were sitting there at like 8 o'clock last night, and it was like, we get out of the yellow? Yeah, we did, but now we're under a different yellow. Okay.
Yeah, the first 12 hours was rough.
Yeah. I'm gonna go make dinner. Come back. Oh, we're still under yellow? Yeah, this is the second different yellow since you left.
There was a lot of wrecks in the first half.
Yeah.
Then second half, they had, I think it was from like 6 a.m. to like 11. Solid green flag. No incidents. Everyone was doing well.
Yeah.
It was just the first half. Guys were racing too hard, taking each other out.
Yep.
Had a couple of big incidents. One that a marshal got injured at.
Yeah, that was the
very first one.
The 12 going into the wall, coming out of the infield onto the oval.
Yeah, into turn 6, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think from what I saw, the marshal is fine. Went to the hospital for precautionary reasons, but he's okay.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
More got shit scared out of him.
Yeah.
But was fun. Kind of came down to 2 cars really for the end. It was both Acuras. It was the Meyer Shank and the Wayne Taylor Acuras that kind of came down.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a good fight.
Yeah.
And at the end, I think there was a caution with an hour to go.
Yeah, just over an hour. Yeah, because the last hour was pretty green. And
then it was just green flag the rest of the way. And you thought maybe traffic could play a role at some part. Where what was it? It was Ricky Taylor was chasing Castroneves, and he was like right on him a couple times. Then some cars got in the way. And you're like, oh, is he going to try to make a move here? He just never had enough.
Yeah, well, As Helio said in his post race interview, I taught him a couple things. I didn't teach him everything.
The guy's 46 and is still great.
Yep.
I really want to see him full time IndyCar this year to see if he still has it.
We'll save it for the betting a little bit closer, but maybe that might be an early one to surprise at a couple races.
Yeah. And if we're looking through, I guess, some of the other classes, the LMP2, the young guys, I'll call that team. That was the Colton Herta, Pato Award, Devlin DeFrancesco, and Eric Lux. They brought their car home. That was the bright as fuck orange and yellow.
I like that car.
Oh my god! That thing didn't need headlights.
Nope.
You could see it a mile away.
Oh, for sure.
And
you're thinking, I'm getting out of the way, or I'm about to be in trouble.
So they ended up winning. I didn't really pay much attention to the LMP3s, to be honest. I don't think anyone kind of cared too much about that race. It's an okay class.
No, because the next level down had the best finish out of all the classes.
The GTDs won. What was it? It was the 9 and the 2.
Yeah.
Put on the greatest 5 hours of racing, where they were less than 2 seconds apart for 5 hours. I don't think they fell apart.
What a good fight.
And it came down to the last lap going through the
bus stop.
What's another? It's called the Le Mans chicane now. They changed the name of that.
Yeah.
But yes, the bus stop. Yeah. And they come together through there, and the the 2 car loses out, spins. The second place, what was it? Whatever the heck the car was, it was the Ferrari. They got by. So then the 9 Porsche, that was the FAF one. The plaid one. Mm-hmm. One of the best liveries too.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Also a Canadian team, so
woo! Shout out.
Yes. They ended up winning. The Ferrari came home second, and then the other Porsche limped home for third. It was such a fantastic fight.
That's heartbreaking after 24 hours, but
the
marshals didn't see anything wrong. I don't think anyone really did. It was just
even with 5 minutes to go, they start door banging each other. They're all over each other. It looked like they almost spun each other out at one point.
Yep.
It was apparently they used to be teammates too, with the 2 drivers. So
wow,
they know each other. They're just racing hard, and for 24 hours to lose in the last lap by making, I guess, a risky-ish move.
Mm-hmm.
The move there actually is probably stick behind him as close as you can through the bus stop. Yep. Maybe throw his line off, get the inside, make him go wide, and then you get behind him and try to get the slipstream to the line. That's the only chance you really have.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it was a very entertaining race. Though it was really interesting with apparently the GTDs now, because the GTLM kind of class died. Basically, all those higher, faster level GT cars got neutered down to being regular GT3s.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was the Chevys and the Corvettes and the BMWs that used to be in the higher class. They really struggled this race. I think the Chevys, I don't even know if they finished. I know the BMWs were way off the pace early on. But yeah, they did not have a good 24 hours. Where's the highest? The highest Corvette was what? I'm trying to see. I think it was 6th in class, something like that. And the other one didn't even finish the race, I'm pretty sure. But
it's a bit of a rough go.
It's what happens when you change it up, and you have to kind of change formulas and try to get a car that's basically brand new for a race. So they can't all be winners.
Mm-hmm.
And this is also the last year of the DPIs in the Rolex. So if you think the last 2 races are good, think about next year. When you get to all the, what was it? I was going to say the LMDHs. But
No,
they changed
GT.
they changed the name to GTP,
Mm-hmm.
I think. So it's going to be the GTP class. So you got the GTPs, hypercars.
Yeah,
Sports
it'll
car
be
racing's
interesting
doing
next
great.
year for sure. Mm-hmm.
I can't wait already.
I know.
I know. Next year I'll stay up longer.
Maybe next year we can just go to it. That would also be nice.
Yes. Let's rent that RV, guys.
When Florida's no longer the hotbed of COVID.
Okay, everywhere's the hotbed of COVID.
It's true. Right now it's like everywhere.
Yeah, there is no escaping.
No. But yeah, next year that would be totally awesome. I mean, I should have vacation time left next year.
Nice. So yeah, next year
it'd be super cool to go.
I think there's going to be at least 5 different manufacturers. Because I think this year for the 24, there's only 2. It was only the Acuras and Cadillacs.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So bumping it up to 5 will make it really fun.
That'll be fun.
Having like Porsche, BMW.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Oh, I'm so excited for next year's. Anything else to add for the 24 hours?
No, the only thing I'll say for the DPIs was I really wish that 48 would have been able to stay on the lead lap, because that would have just made it. I think that would have made it a lot of fun.
What happened to them? Did we find out?
I didn't see.
Okay.
I think it happened late in the night.
Yeah,
But,
the only time we were sleeping.
Yeah.
They still finished 11th overall.
Yeah, but they were 22 laps down. Like,
Yeah,
I wish they would have been up there,
honestly,
because they looked competitive.
the DPIs were not as close as they were last year. Last year, it was like anyone could win all the way down to the last hour. Like every DPI, I think, finished on the lead lap last year. They were all within I think they all finished within 10 seconds or some shit last year. So, actually, I can actually look that up. Haha. No, I cannot. No, I can. Yes. Found it.
Let's say the magic of.
Sorry, the top 5 all
Internet.
finished within the last on the lead lap. But it did kind of come down to. Okay, so maybe it wasn't as bad as I remember. Okay, so it's about standard then. So then, shall we move on to our final fun thing to discuss?
Yep, I think so.
With the start of the Formula E series, we decided to go through and rank all of the Formula E liveries. The ones we think is the best to the worst. Now I will ask both of you, how do you want to start? Do you want to start with the best, or do you want to start with the worst?
Start from the bottom.
Started from the bottom, now we're here.
Okay, so we have all of these here, all of the cars, and who wants to give their worst first, or are we all kind of in agreement on it?
Avalanche sucks.
Yeah, the Avalanche and Jody?
I said Venturi as my last.
Really? Okay. Okay.
I
okay.
did.
Which
But
one's-
no, the Avalanche looks weird because it's just like a random white sash, and they didn't even center it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
The Andretti cars last year,
Yeah.
like I remember Sean making the point of they didn't have symmetrical, but at least last year, like it was
all over the place.
entertain, and it was I think it looked interesting, the design, because it was sort of random. This one just looks like they tried to make it standard and then just sort of gave up midway through.
Mm-hmm.
They said, to be different, we're going to throw a white sash across the front. I don't know. I don't really like it, and then also the finish on it isn't great.
So you don't like the Rocket then, Taylor?
No, I don't.
Really?
Yeah. Sorry, I was actually I was bringing up the images again because I made my list, but didn't have the images to look at. But yeah, I think it looks like it has like a classic kind of look to it, so I can understand why some people like it. But for myself, I just find it very bland. Like for me, like a car livery should stand out, and I don't think like an all black car with just like Rocket on the side stands out in any way, really.
Interesting.
Yeah, it just doesn't catch my eye. And so for me, like, it's just kind of like a meh.
Fair enough.
Okay.
I'm trying to see if I can get them into the screen. So yeah, I have them here. So I'm just going to pull them up so we can actually show which ones we're talking about. Haha. Actually, put them this side. Steven, you're covered by the camera. Sorry.
That's fine.
It's okay.
The cars look more interesting right now, anyways.
That's fair. So yeah. So Taylor, you say the Rocket is the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Steven are in agreement that the Andretti, it's not even a good shade of red.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, if maybe they put a different finish on it.
Yeah.
Well,
it's not. Yeah. And there's already like 4 red cars. I don't like it.
Like, the other thing with the Andretti last year, along with the style, was the color scheme looked really nice with the purple, white, and blue.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It popped and was noticeable. This is just like you said, one of 4 red cars on the grid.
Yeah.
I think one of the drawbacks of like all of the liveries this season is the fact that there is 4 red cars.
Well, remember the Indy cars when it used to be all blue and white cars?
Mm-hmm.
So like you could have similar colors.
Yeah.
But do something with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so your least favorite is Rocket, Steven. It's the Andretti. What is your next worst?
Mercedes.
Ooh. Okay. Steven, what's yours?
They say I wasn't overly high on them, but I didn't have them that low either. Next, I think I had the Mahindra.
I also had the Mahindras.
Oh wow! Like, it just looks like a Ferrari ripoff.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
It's a Ferrari ripoff.
Fair.
It's just meh. Again,
You know what? Maybe that's why I like them.
How can we? Yeah, that's
maybe it is.
How can we be noticeable? I know, let's look like one of the more iconic F1 cars. That'll do it.
And again, there's already so
I
many
really
red
like the
cars.
little shell.
Yeah, like if you're gonna match the color scheme of other cars on the grid, at least be the best one with that color scheme.
Yeah.
I definitely didn't have them up there. There's two cars that I had above that, and yeah, it just wasn't them.
All right.
Third. What do you guys have third?
Someone else.
Avalanche.
Okay. Yeah, okay. That's your third.
So they were far down on my list. Like, I didn't necessarily love their livery either. They just weren't like my bottom 2.
No, it's the Rocket one. I actually enjoyed. I had that higher. My next one actually was the Dragon Porsche.
3 for 3, bud.
Really?
Really?
3 for 3.
Oh,
honestly, I think it's just the fact that they're all red and they just kind of. I'm not a fan of the red cars. At least, like, again, it's more white than red.
Yeah.
But it's not that.
So if the Mahindra is the Ferrari ripoff, this is the Alfa Romeo ripoff.
Oh my god, exactly.
Giovinazzi didn't go anywhere. He just changed from a gas engine to a pure electric.
Oh my god, that's so
fair.
good. Yes.
That's too true.
Right? Like,
It looks
it's
exactly the
exact
same. You're right.
We're just going to change a couple lines here, slap some different sponsors on. All right, there you go, Gio. It's like you never left.
No, that's very true.
Like, come on, guys. Make it interesting.
So your fourth worst, Taylor, I'm curious what yours is now. Porsche.
You like the Porsche?
Yeah, I'll be honest. That's in my top 3.
Yep. That's
Really? I think it's just kind of blah again. Like, it doesn't stand out to me.
And quick disclaimer: me and Sean have not read each other's lists.
No, we have no idea.
Oh my god.
We just have. We've just been friends for a long time, and we have very similar tastes.
Exactly. Okay, so Steven, what is your fourth?
My fourth was, where was it? I gotta find it again. That was
I
the.
swear, if it's the same one, I'm gonna like
Oh.
die.
Jaguar.
Okay, yeah, you lost me on that one. I went with a Mercedes.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait,
So
is Jaguar,
Mercedes was kind of far down
Jaguar,
my
is
list.
Jaguar your next one?
No.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, did we just inverse
What
it?
is wrong?
Okay, so I'll explain. I'm kind of low in the Mercedes, and I guess Taylor is too.
Yeah. I mean, they were my third worst. Like, I just,
Yeah,
again, like, I think it's just a typical Mercedes livery. Like, they don't.
I like it more in the
Across,
black.
like- Yeah, like I like it more than the black, but at the same time, like it's still like another meh livery.
It's a nice silver arrows. It's kind of nice to see them, but it doesn't do anything different. It just kind of is there. So yeah, it's okay.
So Mercedes is only up one spot on my list.
Yeah, same kind of thing. It's okay.
Very similar. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think they can do a little bit more with the blue to make it stand out. Like that, they have such a nice color there, but they don't use it very well.
Yeah.
It's just it's barely a highlight, if anything.
So for my 5th worst one, or I guess kind of middle of the pack here, I had Nissan.
Me too.
Okay.
We agree.
Okay.
Finally.
Again, it's not bad. They're just like at this point in the middle few of the rankings, they're not bad liveries. There's just ones that I like better. So the Nissan one, and again, I have Nissan above the Porsche one because I actually really like the Porsche livery and the different colors. The Nissan one kind of seems like a ripoff of that, and when there's already a fucking bunch of red cars, again that knocks it for me.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
red and black.
Well, so I'll lead off the next round because that's where I had Nissan.
You had it in the.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So you
in
just
7th. We're on 7, right?
6.
Yeah. So sorry, I'm skipping ahead to the next round just because you both had Nissan
For 5.
last round. I've got Nissan for this one.
Yeah,
so.
and you had Mercedes for this one for 5.
Correct. Yeah. It's the Jaguar that slipped down.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Right.
So to
I had
recap,
Mahindra on this
so
one.
I was gonna say recap our bottom 5. So
Okay.
5 to 10. 11.
Yeah.
Where the heck?
11.
5 to
Yeah.
11.
5 to
11 teams.
So my bottom 5, my 5th is Nissan, or well, yes, 6 is Nissan.
No, it would be 6. Yeah.
7 Mercedes, 8 Dragon, 9. No, wait.
Start from 11. Avalanche.
Okay, the worst is Andretti Avalanche, then Mahindra, then Dragon, then Mercedes, then Nissan. That's my bottom 5.
Yeah. I've got Venturi, Mercedes, Avalanche, Porsche, and then Nissan as my bottom 5.
And I've got Avalanche, Mahindra, Dragon, Jaguar, then Nissan. Or no, sorry, Jaguar, then Mercedes, then Nissan.
So what's your next then?
My next one is Mahindra. So they're like mid-pack.
So our bottoms are kind of all falling in relatively close to the same.
Yeah, I mean, like I think with Mahindra, because it looks so similar to the Ferrari, that's probably why I ranked it higher on like the. If we're ranking the red cars, I ranked it as 2 rather than like 4.
Just the worst.
But,
damn Ferrari fan girl. Say fanboy, fangirl? Yeah.
But I just think that's a classic look. Like for me, when I think of a red car, I think of, Formula One, I think of Ferrari, but I just like that look. I appreciate the little shell logo. That's definitely one of their sponsors, but it definitely reminds me of a Ferrari even more. But I don't mind it. If the red is done well, which I think Mahindra used it well, I don't mind it.
I had the Rocket one of this. Again, I like the Rocket livery. I think it's becoming one of those more, I don't say like iconic, but kind of like the BWT ones a few years ago, where every series had a pink BWT kind of livery car.
Okay.
It seems like Rocket, everyone's getting a black Rocket car in most series. Mm-hmm. And honestly, it stands out pretty well. You notice it.
It really does.
Yeah, and even like IndyCar, you notice the Rocket. Like,
yeah,
it's actually a pretty. It's plain, but it pops. Again, especially against all the red cars. Seeing the black, really there. Like, most of this grid can be defined by black, blue, or red.
Yep.
That's really it. And just the plain red with the Rocket, it stands out. And it looked really good under the lights, too. Steven?
Oh, this is where I had the Rocket as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's more agreeing. Nice.
Yeah. And also, just one last thing on the Rockets. It's almost like Batmobile.
You know what? Yeah, that's a good point.
With this
Fair
design,
enough.
it looks like a Batmobile.
Fair enough.
That got it some bonus points for me.
Okay, so next.
So now we're into the top 5. So we'll do the next 2, and then we'll give our top 3 from 1 to 3. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
What is your 5th favorite?
Pachita.
That's the black and gold, right?
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Again, nothing.
I like it.
Everything here, I think we're
Not my
all,
favorite.
we're all in agreement that these are all top liveries. It's just where do we think are the best?
Yeah.
See, I had the Neo here.
Yeah, I had the Neo too.
God damn it again.
Very similar tastes.
Honestly, I do like the Neo. It's again for the blue kind of off blue transition colors. Looks pretty decent.
Yeah, and it's something a little bit different too.
Yeah.
Right, from most series, but I don't know. I also think there's some better ones.
No, yeah, agreed. Like, so what do you have it for then?
What do I have it for?
Yeah.
That would be the Envision team. The green and blue.
Okay. I have Jaguar at 4.
Okay, there you go.
I have Dragon at 4. Which I kind
You're
of
really
like
high on Dragon.
regret
Wow.
now. I regret it now because of the
The Alfa Romeo comparison.
the comparison the comparison you made to Alfa Romeo. So like, I don't know. Jury might be out on that one. Like, I might be a little lower on my list, but
You might need to do a recount.
might need to do some reshuffling. But for now, like for the purpose of this discussion, that's where it ranks.
Okay, so for now that we're in our top 3, what is everyone's number 1 livery?
So I have a top 4.
What's your number 1?
Yeah,
My number 1 is the Porsche safety car. Did you see the design of it? It looks fantastic.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna give that one to you. That's
It looks
fine.
so good. Like, of all the liveries that Formula E has this year, I thought that the safety car of all things had the best design to it. It was just it's
Sean, do you have a
colorful.
picture?
It pops.
do a
I'm
picture
gonna
of the
see if I can
safety car.
find a picture of the safety car.
If in doubt, just throw it in editing.
Yes.
The design of this safety car excites me just as much as when we saw the Aston Martin safety car come out for Formula 1 last year. It just looks great.
You want to see the safety car?
I mean, nobody wants to see the safety car, but in terms of like the design factor of it, beautiful.
It is a very nice, and I kind of like how what they did with the safety car is they made sure to have all of the team's colors on it.
Mm-hmm.
So it represents, I guess, the series better.
Yeah, exactly. I just think it's really well done.
Okay, I'll give
10
it
out
to
of 10.
you. Okay.
But my real number 1 for the liveries is actually Envision.
Thank you. Me too.
I freaking loved that livery. Steven, what is wrong with
why
you?
do you have that at like 4?
Yeah.
Does it even crack the top 3?
No.
Like,
Okay, hang on. No, because I think we screwed this up somewhere because I was going through my list again trying to figure out why.
What?
I feel
Okay.
like I'm missing one.
So you fucked up.
No.
we're both good.
Because I jumped ahead when we went through that Jaguar, Nissan being down 1 slot.
Oh, see,
That's why.
so it was
'Cause
all you.
Because I was.
This is all your fault.
Sure, whatever. I don't really care.
This is not on me and Sean.
Yeah, we were going over place by place what you have at this spot on this list. I don't know how you said, okay, what's our 5th and 4th, and really?
I don't know.
Yeah, you're gonna blame us? Do you have
I'm not
like 10 cars on there,
blaming
not 11?
I'm not blaming anybody.
So what's your number 1, Steven?
Okay, so the number 1 is the Porsche.
No.
I like that. I like that color scheme and that design. It's classic. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Porsche for me is top 3. It's my 3rd best. I agree. It's a very classic livery, and it's a good color scheme. It's not doing too much. Yeah.
It's classic. I like it. It's a good way to stand out on this grid. You still have the red, but it's an accent, not the primary.
Yeah.
Or second.
So, I just don't understand. Like, if we're talking about standing out, how is Porsche #1 and Envision isn't? Like, it's the
Agreed.
only green car on the grid.
That's why I like the Envision pops.
It pops, and like the green, the one on the website does not look that great, but on track it looks fantastic.
Yes.
No, I don't know. Something about the old school look.
That's fair. What's everyone's second?
Jaguar.
Okay.
I had Techeetah.
I also have Techeetah.
Because that looks like another sort of classic look with like the just simple black and gold. Reminded me of the old Aero cars from IndyCar a couple of years ago when Hinch was still there.
Techeetah's black and gold kind of styling has always looked very good. And this rendition of the car, I think, is a very good one. Again, it pops. You know which car it is at a quick glance. That's why I don't like all the red ones, because it's like, you're like, okay, so which shade of red is that? What are the accents? You can't tell which car that is.
Mm-hmm.
I will say,
you see the gold.
The
Techeetah.
one downside, Techeetah's good, and I liked them. They just weren't my favorite. But I will say, one of the downsides of the Jaguar livery is just how many freaking sponsors they've plastered on the car.
Why I didn't like it. I ranked it super low.
But
I have it 4.
I think it's the color scheme that I like.
I do
better.
love the colors.
It's the colors that make it a 2 for me. But the spot, it almost looks like they cut and pasted like every single sponsor that the team has like onto their car in like various different ways, and it's like a collage of.
No, so that's I didn't really go over it, but that's why I ranked it so low, is because it's just so much is going on. Like if you strip out half of these sponsors, I love the color scheme of the teal and the black, but it's the sponsors and then also the sort of weird gradient they have at the back of the car. Just make it solid. I think that's or make it like straight lines. I don't know why it's like a grate or something.
I actually like that kind of the choppiness to it.
Really?
Yeah.
Our styles are similar, but I guess not identical. Well, clearly
so
not.
It was 3.
So 3 for me was the Envision team.
3 for me.
Mine was
Porsche.
Neo.
Okay.
So I love the colors for the Neo car.
The Neo looks pretty good. I do like the transition from the dark blue to the light blue. Mm-hmm. And again, it has like the little red accents. It's a nice car. It's just, in terms of that versus the Jaguar's a little more simple than the Neo one, so that's why I had that a little higher. But I do love the thing I like about the Jaguar. It's not black. It's like a gray. It's like I don't know, like a dark gray kind of color to it.
Versus off black.
Yeah. Versus the Rocket is like you said, Batmobile black.
Yeah.
If the Jaguar was black, I would like it less. Because there's that little bit of gray in there versus black. It's good. But Envision is still the best. You can't look at that and just be like, I don't know. Like, it just looks great. Is that it then? Any other final thoughts on these?
No.
Okay.
They looked good on track for the first weekend. That was and hopefully they'll still look good after all the door banging or wheel banging.
It was a very good opening weekend for motorsports with the Formula E, with the Rolex 24. I'm kind of like, wow, fuck. There's nothing to watch next week.
Yeah. We'll ease into it, and then in the middle of the summer, we'll be sitting here watching races all day, but it'll be 3 different races versus just one.
That's fair. However, after having, I guess, like, the injection of 3 races, I guess, for like 3 straight days.
You're hooked again.
I know. I'm like, come on. Let's get more.
You got those race streams, bud?
you got any more? Do you? I need my fix.
Jeez.
Anyway, that is all we have for this week of Spare Parts. Thank you for listening. We will be back next week, and hopefully more stuff could happen.
Thanks for listening to Spare Parts. Remember to follow the show on Twitter at sparepartspod and the hosts at Stephen Clary, at Sean Cavarella, and at Tate Moore.